Good morning vlog. Today we are out here in the harsh wilderness of Siberia. I'm just kidding, we're in Kazakhstan. Today's our first day exploring the city of Almaty. It is a beautiful winter wonderland, but it is very cold. It is currently -15. We are on a mission to get some breakfast
and coffee.
Possibly some coffee as well. And we need to get gloves.
Gloves and beanies actually.
And beanies. We are horribly underprepared for this weather. Look at all that goodness. Alright vlog, we've made it to some random cafe. It says I love food Almaty, I agree with that. We have a very Russian menu. I have no idea what this says. Oh, pizza.
Except for the
pizza.
Except for the burger.
Look at how good technology is these days. So good. One of the joys of traveling with someone else is you get a lot more food, or a lot more variety of food, I guess. When I was in Europe, I was so sad, and I was very starved as well because food was so expensive.
Okay, so this is probably a very gelatinous soup that I'm tasting a bit of cow's feet. It's very light and savory. I recognize this buckwheat because that's what they make soba with. Good. It's very nutty.
So a little disclaimer, which is really funny. This is probably a Turkish cafe, not really a Kazakh place. But still, I got myself here the Turkish coffee. This semester in particular, I've become more of a coffee addict. Oh wow, it's so strong. Oh, that's so good. Alright, it was a successful breakfast.
It was so good, like a great start to the day.
Yes, and
except for the fact that the counter lady, I guess we were about to like leave the restaurant, and then we saw this great selection of
pastry,
like baklavas and stuff.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, we need to try that. So I approached the lady at the counter, whom we just paid for a meal. I asked her if, like, I smiled and I was like, you know, can we get that? She pouted at me. I was like,
recreate it.
And she was like, bitch, please, there's no need to pout at me.
Final cost for breakfast, it was only $17. Yeah. So for the two of us, $8.50 for that much and that good food.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah.
Alright, I am successful in picking up my clothing, and Max over here is participating in another Google Translate convo. What are you asking?
Are there any bars in the city?
Of course. She's thinking. She's thinking.
Oh, Nikulin. Okay. Maybe.
Alright vlog, we are in the supermarket. This is crazy to me. $1 is 450 tenge, and this is like what, 80 cents, and it has 8% alcohol. We're gonna pick one up and we'll try it tonight. 80-cent beer. We have now ventured beyond our neighborhood confines. We're in this like Soviet square or something. I think this is a theater, but this style of architecture is so Soviet, and I absolutely love this. So when I was in high school, I had an absolute infatuation with the Soviet Union. Like I said yesterday in my vlog, this is my first time ever in a former Soviet republic, and it's just so cool to me to be able to see all the remnants and the relics of the Soviet era. When I was in high school, I actually memorized the Soviet Union national anthem. So there is this line in there that's just stuck in my head now. It goes, "Да здравствует создание воли народов, единый могучий Советский Союз." Something like "Long live the Soviet Union." Full disclaimer, that is an academic interest in communism. I do not think that we should overthrow the government. It's purely academic in my interest. We're now riding the metro downtown. The metro is pretty new. It was only opened in 2011, and it's only 22 cents to ride it.
Where are you now?
We are in the city center. We're about to go to Republic Square and see the Independence Monument. but we have stopped briefly to play in this Soviet playground.
Well, it's barely a Soviet playground. It's actually quite a nice playground if you take a look. All covered in snow, exercise corner, reliving our childhood.
Our Soviet childhoods. Our Soviet childhood. So when I was back in Western Europe, I felt so silly wearing my little cowboy boots. But here in thick snow, this works really well. We have just come here to the Independence Monument, but on the way here we stopped into a little English language studio thing. We got a lot of bar recommendations and restaurant recommendations, which is really good.
Yeah.
But also you ask her what's the primary language of choice here, and she said Kazakh and Russian, but people prefer
To speak Russian.
Sadly. All the young people, you know, all the popular media that you consume, it's mostly Russian.
Yeah.
There's not much Kazakh media.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that Russian's more preferred.
They are two very different languages. Kazakh is actually from the Turkic languages. Before the Russians created the Cyrillic alphabet for Kazakh, Kazakh was actually written with Arabic script.
The government recently passed a law that by 2031, the script will be officially Latin. So all the Cyrillic alphabet will be gone by 2031. So it's sad to see that go and see the Latinization of Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
We have stepped into a local bar. It's really interesting because Kazakhstan is a Muslim country, I believe, but it's really not as conservative because they do serve alcohol here.
I feel like the vibe of this place, I mean the area of the city that we are at currently, it's very posh because I've
Right
seen,
here,
like
around this
right
area.
here in the city center, it's really posh, and there were a few expensive cars on the road. We've seen Bentleys, BMWs, like electric cars.
Jeeps, Land Rovers,
Oh yeah, Mercedes. Yeah. We stepped into a department store that looked like a hotel, but we weren't sure like whether it was a hotel. And then we went down a flight of stairs to like what looked like a museum collection. I thought it was just like the household area of like department store to get like ornaments for your display cabinets.
And the security guard,
security guard with a
yelled
gun.
at us. He had a gun.
Yeah, he had a gun. And then he said something
scared.
Russian, and then he just glared at us. I was just like,
Okay, bye.
sorry, like
Tourist, no, tourist.
But anyways, we chanced upon this like bar. If anyone finds themselves in Kazakhstan and you go to Amber Bar and Beer, please come and get the deeper because you would never be disappointed if you are an IPA person.
You're doing their marketing for them.
Yeah, cheers.
I feel like we've been talking a lot on this vlog today, but this country is so interesting that I just want to like talk. Here, it's very difficult to communicate with the people because not a lot of them are willing to speak English back to you. We have been using Google Translate a lot. The bartender here, he is actually Muslim. I asked him, do you speak Kazakh or Russian? And he said he speaks both, but his wife is Russian and he respects it at home, so he speaks Russian at home with her. I asked him about the whole situation with like this country being Muslim. You know, we're in a bar, and he said we are a free country, so it's very different from other Muslim countries. We've also discovered that tomorrow is Kazakh Independence Day. So at first we were really excited, like, what are the chances that we end up in Kazakhstan on their Independence Day? And I was expecting like events, parades. So I went to go ask the guy like what's happening tomorrow, and he said there's nothing happening tomorrow. Everything is closed because the government is scared that people will protest. And apparently people are dissatisfied with the political situation right now. He told us to be careful tomorrow.
Oh.
And you're not allowed to walk around with alcohol because it is still a Muslim country after all.
Magajan was his name, right?
Magajan.
Yeah.
Magajan.
Absolutely amazing guy.
Очень
Lovely,
приятно.
lovely beers and great ambience. Are you Zor?
Yep. We're walking through the neighborhood streets right now of Almaty. It is so beautiful. Like, it looks so Soviet. I just cannot comprehend how beautiful this is with all the snow. If I didn't say that I was in Kazakhstan right now, I could very easily pass this off as Moscow. Wow. Oh. Alright vlog, we have come here for dinner. This was recommended to us by the waiter at the Japanese restaurant yesterday. This is local Kazakh food, so hopefully it will be good. Wow. What is this place? I'm kind of scared. This place is a little high class. So the waiter comes out and he opens this thing, and I assume it was a wine. Then he pours it in my glass and it's a water. Premium water, non-carbonated, excellent, perfectly balanced 2001 water. This is tap water. Like this is not perfectly balanced. So we got a pasta with horse meat. I'm excited to try the horse meat. What is this?
Lamb cooked in the traditional like Kazakh way.
First impressions?
Really delicious. This is like super tender, very well seasoned.
Which one? The lamb or the
lamb.
horse? The lamb?
Yeah, and the horse meat is like it's also very tender, and it's made as like this thin pasta. It's reminding me of like big kway teow, like you know when you eat kway teow.
So just had a bite of the lamb, and there's just like a layer of fat just coating my tongue. That is just like bursting with flavor. It is very tender. It's not as gamey as I expected. We also tried this pasta, and it is also so good. It's handmade. You wouldn't expect to have pasta in a Kazakh restaurant, but it's buttery, so milky, and so smooth. This might be the best pasta I've ever had. I think like all of this actually might be one of the best meals I've ever had. This is so good. Wow.
Hi, so we have literally been to like a 6-star restaurant in the middle of Almaty. Super fancy, and they even have a cloakroom where you have to drop your like jacket off.
When we first came in here, I was actually kind of scared because a place like this would easily cost $100 back home.
The total bill was 26,000 tenge, which is like
a little over
$55
total.
Yeah, 55 to 60 USD.
Yes.
For 2 people.
$55. That actually included tip as well. So
Yeah.
if you minus off the service charge, it would have only been like what, $45 for the actual like the food.
And back home in Australia, if you get that amount of meat, plus a glass of
quality
wine,
of meat as well.
it's easy like $150
Wow.
for one meal. But this was a very good experience that you try traditional Kazakh cuisine made in a very nice like posh setting.
Very fancy, yes.
So it's a very hearty meal, and it's perfect for a winter's night with like over a glass of like Kazakhstan red wine, which was absolutely delicious.
Yes. We actually have saved like half of that lamb here. So actually this is breakfast for tomorrow, not breakfast. This is dinner for tomorrow as well. This meat right here is one of the best meats I've ever had in my life.
Easily.
So good. With that, thank you Kaimak. That's probably gonna be it for this vlog. We did talk a lot today.
Yes.
But there's just so much to experience. Wow. That's all for this vlog. It's probably gonna be a really long one, but see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.